Hello, 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 hello. Good morning. So, please settle, please settle. I need silence in the class. Please settle. So, today we'll be starting with the subject science and tech. Is there anyone in the class who is attending the very first class? You. Anyone else? Okay, you. For those who are attending their very first class, the batch will be in cycle. So, what we will do, we will be starting your first subject will be science and tech, and so on the other subjects which have already been completed, like we have done the economy, we have done the modern history, and we have done the environment and ecology. Those will be repeated back in cycle. The only thing is, when they will be repeated from March onwards, they will be repeated in English. When I say English, English means जैसे अब मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ इस भाषा में, लेकिन पीपीटी पे सारी चीजें इंग्लिश में होंगी. ठीक है. From March onwards, we will be repeating the subjects as well. Done? Beta, please settle down. I request. Please settle down. So, few very quick questions just to know the demography of the class. Just a request. I have got the complaint that on the first row you are having some reflection in your eyes, right? What you can do, you can start sitting on the second row, है ना? वरना थोड़ा दिक्कत होगी, स्ट्रेन होगा. ठीक है. किसी को कुछ ज़्यादा इशू था तो okay. So just to understand the demography of the class, how many of you are there in the class who have not done the science and tech in the past ever? Okay. How many of you are from the engineering background? Acha, great. Chalo. How many of you are giving your very first attempt in 2026? Okay, makes sense. Chalo. Now, see, let's first start with the ideology of science and tech. If you understand the complete word science and technology, it is okay. With science, the ideology is basic science. 3 subjects are there: physics, chemistry, and biology. Science. Then we have technology, right? When you implement that basic science into maybe some applications or some technology, that is nothing but the technology wala aspect of science. For example, let's say whatsoever you learn in the biology, if you apply that, that is nothing but the biotech. Okay? Health tech, है ना? Now whatever you learn in physics or maybe in chemistry, when you combine it and when you apply, then you have various other technologies. You have defense tech, you have space tech, you have nanotech, you have quantum tech, right? It's very important on my part to make you understand the syllabus first. The biggest mistake when you deal with this subject of science and tech is very simple, that you don't know the topics, because there is no standard book. There is no standard book of science and tech. ठीक है. और एनसीईआरटी में जो दिया है वो क्या है, सिर्फ साइंस है, टेक तो है ही नहीं, राइट? So it's important for all of us to understand first of all that what all lies in the syllabus. First I will ask from you, before I ask, let me write something right on the board. Okay. So in science we have basic physics, chemistry, biology. Okay. Then what you all read is space tech. Then what you all read is biotech, and that is where you limit your entire syllabus of science and tech. Now I want to ask you, what else should be read apart from this? Nanotech, health tech, robotech, AI, emerging tech, then nuclear tech, okay, defense technology, very good. Particle physics, ठीक है, पहला पेज है तुम्हारा, हाँ. Then quantum, ठीक है, second page है. Then see, the ideology is right now you give your almost entire of your time in these two, and that is where we are struggling in science and technology as a subject, है ना, and your order of subjects, picking up the subject is also random. You study science and tech from the factual point of view. That is where you are struggling in the questions. Science and tech, first of all, should be done conceptually, then should be done factually, then should be done from the current affairs point of view, and lastly you have to apply the TRINETRA in science and tech. Very important, very important. 70% of the science and tech questions can be dealt with the concepts, facts, current affairs. Rest 30% you have to apply the TRINETRA. And let me tell you, this is the lowest hanging fruit in the prelims examination. Lowest hanging, I am claiming it again, lowest hanging fruit in the prelims examination. Because whatever we have learned in TRINETRA, both of them is almost always applicable in all the questions. And that is what I will prove in my classes and the practice session. Okay. In economy, let's say IR or current affairs, UPSC may ask some question which may be bouncer for you. Science and tech, even if the bouncer questions are being asked, those can be solved with the logic. That is the beauty of this subject. Okay. So again I am saying the ideology is, first we will understand the concept, we will see some facts, we will see the current affairs, and then at the end you will use your TRINETRA sessions. And that is how the Prelims Bootcamp batch is different from the other batches out in the market. Okay. And within the classes itself, what we will be doing is, we will be making the summaries. Done. Again, you may align with me, you may not align with me, but you cannot ignore this part, very frankly. Okay. Understand one thing, right now in your previous attempts, how many of you have referred to some notes out from the market and have read them? बाहर से कोई नोट साइंस एंड टेक या सब्जेक्ट से लेके पढ़ रहे हो? एक बार हाथ उठाओ. अरे इतने कम थोड़ी हो गए यार, सभी लोग अपने नोट्स बनाए हैं तुम लोगों ने? I'm not talking about the foundation notes, I'm talking about the summaries which you can revise a multiple number of times. Science and tech, we will compile maximum in 25 pages, which you can revise again and again. Let me tell you my track record for your confidence. I'm not boosting whatever I'm doing right now. I'm telling you my track record. Last year I just conducted 2 lectures and 2 1 hour lectures on YouTube. 90% of the questions came from those lectures directly verbatim. That is the beauty of this particular course of science and tech. Okay. So what I am trying to make a point is, let's make the notes comprehensively within the classes. टाइम तो उतना ही दे रहे हैं ना. मैं पीपीटी पे तीन बार एक ही चीज को बोल के बार बार गोले बना के उससे क्या फायदा, राइट? व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग द सेम अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम, है ना, 20 hours or 25 hours, and we are completing the summaries within the class itself. So this is a skeleton which every one of you might have got for whatever topics we will be dealing today. Okay. So whatever notes we will be making under these particular skeleton. Now how many of you have not brought the skeleton in the class? कितने पापी लोग हैं? कोई नहीं है? अच्छा आप हैं पुराने बच्चे हो ना, फिर तो नहीं मिल रहा. चलो ठीक है. So that is how you will make your notes, and that is how your notes will look like. Wait. Okay. ठीक है ना. चलो. For those who are new, this information was important. Now let's understand the syllabus, that what we have to cover under the science and tech. It's not limited to biotech and space tech. And I agree with you, on the internet, over the internet, you will find these 2 topics. But then you have to agree with me, sir, the questions are bifurcated. If space tech and this biotech is having, let's say, 40% of the weightage, rest 60% of the questions are coming from the fuel tech. Last year there were 2 questions from the fuel tech. Last year there were questions from this emerging tech, है ना, quantum tech से measure ना, there was a direct question. So what I am trying to make a point is that the science and tech should not be limited to just space tech and biotech. But right now what is happening in the compilations, in the market, that people are just focusing upon these 2 areas. ठीक है. First let's understand the syllabus कि हमें करना क्या क्या है ना. So when I deal with the science and tech, I will be dealing with the particle physics. You might have heard about quarks, leptons, bosons, this Higgs boson, Higgs field, right? Then there was a question on this Large Hadron Collider, synchrotrons, Indus 1, Indus 2, particle physics, an important area which is generally ignored by the aspirants. Done. Then we will be dealing with the the relevant topics around the particle physics, the nature of the particle. Then first is quantum tech. Then we will deal with the nanotech. Can you see your notes and tell me the topics? Post nanotech will be dealing with the nuclear tech. Again, the technology much more relevant to be studied with the particle physics. Nuclear tech. Done. Fusion, fission, all the nuclear reactors, types of nuclear reactors, type of nuclear, what I can say, the fuels, moderators, coolants, all those things we'll see in the nuclear tech. Done. Post this, we'll see another important topic, fuel tech. And I'm promising you one thing, you will see a question from this again. You might have heard about E20, ethanol blending, है ना? Hydrogen, green hydrogen. Then you might have heard about this red fort blast. देखा था blast जो हुआ था? So it was out of ammonium. There is ammonium material which was blasted. You will see that. ठीक है? So there is a probable question from the fuel tech coming this year, है ना? Then we will see. Post this, emerging tech. Generally, for me, emerging tech is nothing but the technology revolving around AI. Technology revolving around AI. Okay. Then, apart from this, you will read ICT, Information and Communication Technology. Then you will see the health and relevant technology, viruses and all those, vaccines and all those things. Then you will see the biotech. After this, there are other topics which are space. The mistake most of you do, that you do the space tech, but you don't know, or you don't focus upon the astronomy. I will not leave anything. You might have seen the questions from this black hole, right? All those questions. Those are questions, or dark matter, dark energy, cosmic rays, all those things, solar flares, all those things. Part of astronomy. ठीक है? Questions आ रहे हैं बेटा, नहीं पढ़ के जाओगे तुम्हारा नुकसान है. And these topics are all interrelated. You need not to invest more than 2 hours on astronomy, along with space tech. But what we are doing, missions, किस country का है, क्या है, and all those things we are focusing upon. ठीक है? So astronomy, space tech. Then we have defense tech at the right. If you can see, I have color coded the things into 3 various colors. The very first color we will be dealing in the lecture number 1. This we are doing right now. Either this or this we will be doing in the lecture number 2, and this we will be doing in the lecture number 3. Done. And since this batch is both integrated current affairs and static batch, just understand one more thing. I will take 4 hours or 5 hours ka extra class. Not now. That class is even not extra. That will be part of Samadhan. Okay. As of now, some part of current affairs. For example, let's say, whenever we are dealing with the nuclear tech, some of the prominent nuclear sites across the globe, I will leave right now. Okay. That we will do from the current affairs later in the same document. है ना? So 4 से 5 घंटे का extra current affairs I will leave as of now in this class because not relevant. थोड़ा सा IR से related है या let's say और किसी aspect से related है. That we will do later in the Samadhan sessions. So even if you are part of science and tech online individual module, don't worry, you will get access to that lecture as well of current affairs from science and tech. 4 to 5 hours I will take. Done. So this is the entire syllabus of science and tech. You can't ignore anything out of it. Questions are coming. Okay. I missed one topic, robotech, not that important. That I will make a subset of AI only. Any doubt to anyone so far? Any doubt to anyone so far? Start करें? चलो. So the very first topic of the day is the particle physics. Okay. See, See, and you have to feel the science with me, है ना? See, if you're not feeling the subject, you will not be able to understand the subject. Very simple. We have done the economy, we have understood everything, and we have made the notes also. So in the same fashion, I want you to concentrate in the class. सिर्फ ध्यान दे दो, बाकी responsibility is mine. ठीक है? I will make you understand each and everything in the most layman language possible. And when I am saying layman language, I expect engineering वाला background वाला बच्चा not come to me कि सर ये ऐसे नहीं होता. I know वैसे नहीं होता, but for your exam whatsoever is relevant, I will simplify and put it. ठीक है? So that every one of us is on the same page. Do that make sense? Okay. See, understand, right now, if I talk about the general material, I am the material, right? My code is the material, this pen is the material. When I am talking about this general material, if I leave this, is it coming down? It is coming down, right? It is coming down out of which force? I hope this is basic. Every one of you should know that there is a force of gravity. This earth is pulling this pen downwards. Similarly, me also, the earth is pulling me towards its core. Okay? Out of some reason which we will see in the space tech. Up. What I am saying, whatever is this material, this material can be broken into some molecules. Molecules you understand in this fashion. If I break this pen into the smallest parts, I will get a molecule. Each molecule will be composed out of some atoms. Some atom. Maybe there is a carbon atom, there is a hydrogen atom, there is a nitrogen atom, some atom. Okay. Now, when you see this atom, this atom is comprising of three different things which you have seen in the basic science, kabhi 6th mein, 7th mein, 8th mein. When you see this atom will have proton, neutron and electron. Okay. And this is important. See, you may find this as basic, but I will scale the thing from here only. I will keep it to the quantum level, then nanotech and beyond. Okay. So I need your concentration on the board. I know you know, but still. Now, what I am saying, whatever is the core, this entire thing I am saying as atom. Whatever is the core of this atom is nothing but the nucleus of the atom. And when I say this nucleus comprises of two things. This nucleus comprises of two things. First is proton and second is electron, neutron. Okay? Second is neutron. N for nucleus, N for neutron. Okay? Around this nucleus, the electrons are revolving. And please do not write. These electrons which are revolving, they are revolving around the nucleus. Now my fundamental question to you. I dropped this pen on the board, everyone on the board. I dropped this pen is coming down. This pen is coming down out of gravity. There is a force which is attracting this pen. Are you getting my point? When I see this particle, when I break this pen into molecules into atoms, and when I see that atom is further comprising of proton, neutron, electron, I am asking how they are binded together. That should be the fundamental question. Gravity is binding me to the surface, but how these electrons are binded around this nucleus, and how the proton and this neutron is binded within the nucleus. Are you getting my point? To explain this, we have a standard model of particle physics. This standard model of particle physics is applicable. बेटा फोन रख दो, ये उड़ जाएगा टॉपिक, आप फोन रख दो अभी. This standard model of particle physics is applicable on very minute particles. Very minute, I mean atom and subatomic particles. and you have to understand this. This model gives the ideology or gives the answer not only for the binding force but also the answer for the mass, that why these small particles is giving a mass to the atom is giving a mass to the molecule, and molecule is giving a mass to material. So these forces which are acting within the particles, these are part of standard model of particle physics, and this is different from the classical physics. Classical physics has gravity in it. Here there is no role of gravity. These particles are not binded because of gravity. These electrons are not revolving because of gravity. So classical physics is different. Standard model of particle physics is different. It is applied on the smallest particle, that is atom. In atom, why the mass is coming? Why these proton, neutron, electron are binded? The answer is coming out of the standard model of particle physics. इतनी बात clear हुई? Am I clear? Online and offline? ठीक है. Shall I move ahead? Okay. This is important for you to not rectify the signs. Okay. Let's move ahead now. I'll make you right. Don't worry. Up. So what is happening? A material is made out of molecules. Molecule is made out of atom, and that atom is made out of proton, neutron, and electron. Proton and neutron are part of nucleus, and electron is revolving around the nucleus. My question again to you: proton and neutron are part of nucleus. Why the electron is not part of nucleus? The idea is proton is a positive charge and electron is a negative charge. So if they are combining together, they will annihilate. They will cancel each other. If one is fire, the other is water. They will cancel each other. So what is happening? There is some electromagnetic force now which is making the proton and the electron binded, but at a distance. Okay. Whatever is relevant, I will make you right. So we have understood proton and neutron are part of nucleus. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Electrons are not coming to the nucleus because there are negative charge, and proton are positive charge. They are at some small distance to the nucleus, but binded to the force which we will see. Okay. Whatsoever are the number of the protons. For example, if a nucleus has 6 protons, that number of proton is known as atomic number. And whatsoever are the number of proton and the neutron, that is P plus N, is nothing but atomic mass. Okay. For example, there are 5 protons and there are 6 neutrons. So 5 plus 6, 11 will be nothing but the atomic mass. Mass पूरे न्यूक्लियस का मास. So the mass will include both proton. ऐसे याद रखना है. ठीक है. Mass will include both proton and neutron. Do I make sense? Okay. Then we have the electron revolving around the nucleus. Okay. चलो इस पे बाद में आएंगे. Not relevant as of now. Isotopes, isotones and isobars. Okay. So we have the standard model of particle physics for the elementary particles, which explain me about the matter, that why this matter is existing, what is forming this matter. Second, the mass, if this matter is existing, from where the weight is coming to this matter. Why this matter is, let's say 50 grams or 70 grams, है ना? So for example this 100 grams. So from where the weight is coming to this matter. Second thing. Third thing is binding. How these particles are binded together within this, how this atom, subatomic particles are binded together. Okay. When we see this standard model of particle physics, this give answers for all 3 of them. Please just focus upon whatsoever I am teaching you right now. Okay, I will make you write everything. First is matter. This standard model of particle physics explain the matter, whatsoever is the existence of this, the matter which you can see, is coming out of fermions. Fermions are of 2 types. First is quarks and second is leptons. Quarks and leptons. whatsoever is the quark is making the nucleus. See, either the proton or the neutron. So quark will be the base for the nucleus. Either some quarks will come together will make the proton, or else some quarks will come together to make the neutron. Then we have leptons. Leptons will make the electrons whatsoever was revolving, and then the neutrinos. This is very important for your year. Neutrinos. Okay, we will see the complete slide on neutrinos. You know, what are neutrinos, how the neutrinos are formed, how we detect the neutrinos, everything. Right. Up. Let me ask a question from you. Tell me, if I ask you, are protons the elementary particles? Are protons the elementary particles? Why no? Are electrons the elementary particles? See, understand. Right now we have understood these three things. Whenever we see fermions, में there will be some quarks which are of 6 types. 3 of them will combine together and will make proton. See, this is not this simple. There are spins also. Okay, 2 by 3 plus 2 by 3 minus 1 by 3. So some in the negative spin of 1/3, some in the positive spin of 2/3. But you need not to complex that much. आप उतना complex नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है? For you, what I am explaining, 3 quarks, मतलब 3 ऐसे particles, they will combine together to make proton. Similarly, 3 quarks, 2 by 3 minus 1 by 3 spin minus 1 by 3 will combine to make this neutron. Right. Up. Understand electron and neutrinos. What is happening? The leptons, they keep on changing their forms. What is happening? Let's say there are 3 types of leptons. Name not important, we'll go tau, mu and all those things. Abhi aise samjho, there are 3 types of leptons. Now they are not combining, they are just changing forms. This to this, this to this, or this to this. And whatsoever is the form, any one of them you take is nothing but the electron. Similarly, there are 3 forms of lepton. 3 forms of leptons for the neutrinos. Okay? Electron neutrinos, tau neutrinos, mu neutrinos, all those things. Not important. They keep on changing the forms. Whatsoever you take, maybe this form, this form, this form. Individually, that is nothing but the neutrino. So, I am simplifying. Fermions है. Fermions are responsible for the matter. When I say quarks are of 6 types. Any 3 of them will combine and will make proton. That means a proton can be further subdivided into these 3. These are components of the proton. Okay. Then I am combining other 3 and I am making what? Neutron. Not neutrinos. Neutron and neutrinos both are different. Okay. Neutron and neutrinos both are different. Then we have leptons. Again, leptons are of 6 types. But these are not fundamental blocks of making the electrons or the neutrinos. These are forms in which electrons and the neutrinos exist. Forms in which electrons and neutrinos exist. For example, these 3, they may convert into each other, and the phenomena is known as neutrino oscillation. Not right? Okay, no issues. They are changing the forms, and this change of form is nothing but neutrino oscillation. That they are changing from one form to another, another to another, then coming to the individual form. And any one of them individually can be termed as the electron. Okay. Then same, anyone can be termed as the electron. Then same is true for the neutrinos. It's not something here 3 particles are combining together to make a neutrino. They are just changing the form. थोड़ा थोड़ा क्लियर है, थोड़ा थोड़ा ठीक है. चलो, so we have understood one thing. We have understood one thing. Fermions is giving a matter, whatever is the existence to this. Now whatever is the matter, it is also having some mass. What you can see is the matter, and what I can feel in my hand is the mass. ठीक है, mass पे आते हैं अभी. What I'm saying, any proton or maybe any electron, they are binded together. Binded है ना? In the nucleus we saw that they are binded together. See, existing together, बहुत एकदम साथ में है. Now when they are binded together, they are binded together out of the force. ठीक है, the force is strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear, that it is within the nucleus force. ठीक है, न्यूक्लियस के अंदर है, बहुत स्ट्रांग है बिकॉज बाइंडेड है, साथ में बाइंड करके रखा है. ठीक है, नाउ व्हाटसोएवर द इलेक्ट्रॉन, it is revolving around the nucleus, and whenever that electron is revolving around the nucleus, it is revolving because of, I told you earlier, electromagnetic force. ठीक है, then there are some other type of forces in these particles which are nothing but weak nuclear forces. ठीक है, so these three words again I am repeating, and don't worry, I will keep the things beautifully in perspective. मुझे बस 2 मिनट और दे दो. What I am saying, these three forces, first is strong nuclear force inside the nucleus between proton and neutron, then proton and electron wala electromagnetic force. Then we have other type which is nothing but weak nuclear forces. It keeps on applying to everything almost. ठीक है, weak nuclear forces, how it is evolving we'll see in the W bosons and Z bosons. ठीक है, so we have seen the forces also. So we have seen this matter, whatsoever the particles, we have seen that how they are binded, proton and neutron through the strong strong nuclear force, then electromagnetic force is binding the electron around the nucleus. So we got a atom now. Done. ठीक है, अब you tell me how this is getting a mass. If I am saying this is 100 grams, how the mass is coming to this. Now there is a theory which is nothing but a theory of this Higgs field. This theory says that there is a continuous field even in the vacuum. There is a field existing even in the vacuum at every place. In this field, if the matter is interacting, if this matter is interacting with the Higgs boson is now again a particle. ठीक है, this is known as God particle. Why God particle? Because this is assigning the mass. What I'm saying, and I will simplify this, don't worry. If this is now, for example, there is a Higgs field in this room. If this matter interact with that Higgs field, in that Higgs field, Higgs boson will be there. So if this matter is interacting with the Higgs boson will impart the mass to this matter. ठीक है, तुम्हें अपने लिए इतना ही दिमाग में रखना है. Until 2012, this Higgs boson was not discovered. So people were generally not believing in this standard model of particle physics, that you are not able to explain how the mass is coming to this. But then there was something big which happened in the Large Hadron Collider, and which gives the birth to the God particle or the Higgs boson. My fundamental question to you: how many elementary particles are there in the standard physics? Let's count on the board. All of them are particles. See, 6 quarks, 6 leptons, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are these particles. These are also particles. 16, and 1 is Higgs boson. So standard model of particle physics में the elementary particles are 70, ठीक है. अभी I have given you the perspective. Now I will explain you again everything, ठीक है, with the physics behind everything, है ना. So what we will do, we'll write the basics. Show me the handout. ऊपर एक बॉक्स है खाली, ठीक है. In that box you will make this. You will start from material to molecules, molecules to atoms. Atoms have proton, neutron, electron, and this proton and neutron together is known as nucleus. बॉक्स है ऊपर,